Hello, everybody. How you guys doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. I don't know why I started there. I'm starting to lose my mind. I'm starting to lose my mind. What
Off
is
to a
going on?
fantastic start. Fantastic start. Let's go.
I'm sorry. I do not speak English.
It happens to the best of us.
Freaking, I get pulled over. Next thing you know, do you speak English? Yes. Yes, I can speak English. The only reason I can say that, perhaps. I really hope nobody takes that into out of context. Oh wait, what am I saying? Literally anybody on Twitter can take anything out of context. Things are just
Exactly.
things are just so weird right now.
No, for real, dude.
All
People
right.
just unfortunately can't take a joke. But it just depends on the person too. So it's
Yeah,
understandable on certain aspects. But come
yeah, I
on
mean,
now.
I gotta be honest, this is not for the faint of hearts. If you guys are listening to this, first things first, I feel very sorry for your ears because the things that come out of our mouths are not exactly pleasant. But but it's all in good fun. I mean, that's all it is. You just gotta live your life
Exactly.
to the fullest, man. You gotta do what you do what you gotta do, live in the moment. And what was that? What was that other thing that one guy said in that video? Oh yeah, baka.
It just be like that. They really do.
Ah man. Anyways, welcome to Just the Vibes. This is just two guys just hanging out, talking about things that happened in the past, things that are happening in our current lives, and not to mention all of the fun stuff that happened to us throughout our childhoods and that's happening right now. We're just guys that, out here living life the way that we want to.
Bada bang, bada boom. How you doing?
Anyways, I feel like it would be a better idea right now to know who exactly we are. So, I'll introduce myself first. My name is Miguel Perez, but some of you guys know me as Enygma. And my co-host is
Laine Colins here and ready to go. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
I love how you just stuttered too.
Well, I was about to say a word that probably isn't okay at this moment, but maybe later on.
Yeah. You
So
gotta,
for now
we
on,
gotta.
this is where the fun begins, as Anakin Skywalker would say. We'll put it that way instead. There you go. You're welcome.
I wonder how many people in this listening are even Star Wars fans. Hopefully, all of you guys.
I'd hope a few, but that's okay. But that's okay if not. You just gotta, and if you're not, I really recommend getting into it personally. I don't know about, this is just me personally. I don't know about the sequels that much. I'm talking about like the Rey Skywalker sequels. It was okay. It was all right. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst. But I definitely recommend just watching the first 6 movies. I think they were just phenomenal.
Well, here's the thing. Well, now that we're in the topic of Star Wars, I gotta be honest. This is just like my hot take. I definitely feel that instead of doing like the whole Rey trilogy, what they should have done, if I still don't understand the whole details of this, but what they should have done was the original Legends continuity, which happens after uh Return of the Jedi.
True.
Uh I mean, here's the thing. I get where they were trying to go, but it just didn't really work out. And I feel like with specifically for me with Rise of Skywalker, which was the last movie that came out, uh they tried their best, I can tell, but keep in mind things were not all great once the great Carrie Fisher passed away. They re-
Yeah, that's.
they
Mm-hmm.
they used as much of the already recorded footage that they had as well as deleted scenes from the last Jedi to try to fill in those gaps, which surprisingly enough worked, but I feel like it could have been handled a bit better if she was still with us. But that's out of our control. That's out of anybody's control.
Yeah, for that, it's a situation where it's obviously unfortunate, but at the same time, you just got to figure out a way to get through the unfortunate circumstances. And I mean, and to be fair, I think part of the problem too with the sequels, obviously with Disney now in control, it's a whole different vibe. It's a whole different vibe for Star Wars in general, which I think is why for me personally, I could relate more to the older movies because there was just I felt like there was more heart put into it.
Until you
But
realize that George Lucas called his lightsaber a laser sword.
true.
It took you that
Unfortunately.
it took you that long to get the joke. Never mind. But keep going. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good. That was pretty much it.
Well, yeah, Legends continuity for me has always been like the best version of Star Wars. It sucks that it's been decanonized or uncanonized. I don't know which word is correct, but Legends has had way too many good characters that unfortunately were never used or are not being used in the current continuity of Star Wars. One of my favorites is Galen Merrick or Star Killer. And here's the thing. So, for those who don't know who Galen Merrick is or who the Star Killer character is, he was a character that was introduced in a video game series called Star Wars The Force Unleashed. And he is such a threat. And in Legends continuity, if my memory serves me right, is Galen Merrick is the sole reason that the Rebel Alliance was even created. You know that?
Exactly.
Oh wait, why am I
Yep.
asking you that? You've played the games too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no. It's been a long time since I've played both the Force Unleashed games, but yeah, it was definitely a thrill. Definitely really fun to play back then.
Yeah, back in those days, that was when they made some really good Star Wars games. I know that currently they got what? Star Wars Battlefront 2 is like the latest for the No, wait, I'm lying. There's
Yeah,
a
they got I'm forgetting uh, it's killing me. um
I know the actor's name is Cameron
is it
Monaghan.
Fallen Order? Is that
Yes,
it
Fallen
right?
Order.
Okay,
Fallen Order.
yeah.
Yes, they got that. And
The entire yeah.
we're getting another we're getting another video game in the Fallen Order universe, which I'm excited for.
Mhm.
Cameron Monaghan is such an amazing actor, and he really, really, really nailed this character.
True that. True that.
Yo, but
Yeah.
even though here's the thing, when EA ended up getting the rights to the Star Wars universe, which actually there's something that I gotta let you in on if you don't know. This next Star Wars game that's being developed after the new one in the Fallen Order universe is being developed by Ubisoft. It's not going to be developed by EA.
Ooh, thank God. It's over. It's finally over. We don't have to suffer anymore.
I just really hope they don't mess it up. But going back to the topic that I was trying to get to, so EA is known for their terrible, terrible decisions when it comes to their games, and not to mention they messed up so many good games, especially for Star Wars. And then when this one, Fallen Order, came out, everybody had like very low expectations. And then when it dropped and everybody played it, they loved it. This is like one of those things that we're really hoping that they do not screw this up because they already gave us a good one, and we do not want a repeat of what happened to The Last of Us.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate because The Last of Us has been not just, I mean, a wonderful season one that they just had just recently, great show. They did a really good job.
The cast
Not
is
just
phenomenal.
not just keeping it like similar to the game, obviously, but just the differences that they decided to put into it, and what to keep different, what to keep the same. It was a good balanced out for season one in particular. But as far as like the games go, obviously the first one was phenomenal. Game of the year, obviously. Can't get any better than that. Part two was, in my opinion, it was still a fun game to play, but storyline purposes, it could have been, it could have been better, somewhat. It's just, it felt, what's the word I'm looking for here? It felt just like it was very quick to judge, and it is easy to understand like what the whole purpose of the storyline is. So that's just for me personally.
Here's the thing. First things first. This is not an excuse for anybody who's trying to make something and then just trying to do a follow up. Here's the thing. It is very difficult to follow something up once you already made something great. Uh, that much is already given because sometimes the sequels don't live up to their expectations, and then there are others that just completely surpass them.
Exactly.
But the thing is, it's about a hit or miss. My advice to
Yeah.
anybody that is trying to create something, or better yet, needs to hear this for their creation, is listen to the audience. The audience, most of the time, is going to tell you exactly what they want, but at the same time, put your foot down on a specific theme, because obviously you don't want to branch out into something else and then just completely leave everybody hanging high and dry. Don't
Yeah.
do that. I mean, heck,
Yeah.
I think somebody even made like a fan fiction, not about The Last of Us, but so you're not into. Real quick, I gotta ask: are you into the Sonic games by any chance?
Yeah, somewhat. Like, I didn't exactly grow up on the Sonic games, but they were somewhat actually pretty fun to play whenever I got the chance to play them. I probably played them more often when like I would hang out with you or anybody in particular who had any specific Sonic games. It doesn't really matter like which one in particular, but yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come back to that topic. But sticking with the Sonic games, well, right now Sonic Frontiers is the latest one. It's absolutely phenomenal. I recommend that you play it when you get the chance. But before that, we had another game called Sonic Forces, which was absolutely terrible. The writing was all over the place. There was no consistency. Uh, the no development. Everything was just like way off, and it just felt very bad. Is too nice of a word. It was absolute garbage. That's the best thing that I could say, or quote unquote the nicest thing that I could say.
That's
However,
fair.
somebody ended up rewriting the whole thing in like a fan fiction, and then they ended up telling their story, and everybody is saying, "Dude, this guy literally just did what a team of writers could not do. Actually, managed to make a decent story. He took one terrible concept and just made it work." It's
Fair enough.
when a fan can do a job better than its original creator,
That says a lot.
that says a lot. And there's another example about that. But again, like I keep saying, that's a topic for another discussion, for another
Mhm.
time. But
Yeah.
going back to what you said, whenever you would hang out with me, maybe we should tell. Uh, maybe we should tell how we met. To be
Yeah.
specific, because we've known each other for how long?
Okay. So 12, 12 years? 13 years?
Yeah, we met each other in
Yeah.
sixth grade.
That's insane. Yeah. So about 12, like between 12 to 13, somewhere around there. But yeah, that's a pretty long time. And, to be fair too, we definitely had like our ups and downs as we went through like high school and trying to figure out like who we are and what we want to do with our life. So, and there were some disagreements, there were some agreements, and honestly, in the better run of everything, it all worked out in its own way, and it's good that we were able to make amends because I feel like between us two, there were situations definitely where we just weren't mature enough to figure out a solution to the problem. Instead, we just said, "All right, we're done. That's it." And we just had to move on. And that's sometimes it just has to be that way. You just have to move on for a little while and kind of do your own thing. And this even goes along with just not just friendships, relationships with family, that sort of thing. Sometimes you just need some time away from certain people and you can come back later on and things do get better. Things do get a lot better eventually. It may take time, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like that is something that you definitely need. First things first, if you're having like a very rough relationship with anybody, it can be a friend, it can be a family member, it could even be a significant other. I was gonna say loved one, but that kind of mixes in with family. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is take a little bit of time. That way, first things first, you yourself as an individual have to learn how to you have to learn how to mature, how to handle things a lot better. And in the end, if things work out, you might be able to salvage or better yet, rekindle the friendships or the relationships that you've once had. But and this is very unfortunate. Sometimes things just aren't always going to go your way. Sometimes things are not going to work out the way that you want them. And at that point, one of the most important lessons that we can say, or for those who are listening, is learn how to let go. Because as hard as it is to let go of something that happened in the past, it's better that you just let it go and let that weight just roll off of your shoulders instead of keeping it on yourself for the remainder of your life. Because I can tell you this from experience, not just from what I've done or things that I've seen other people do, but usually it's so much better to just let it go than hold on to it because first things first, they waste a lot of energy. And at the end of the day, it's not going to make you feel any better. So it's the sooner you can learn how to let go, the faster you can heal.
Exactly.
And man, we just turned ourselves into we went from hanging out just another day in the life to just becoming freaking what's the word again? Philosopher? Philosophers?
Yeah. Like philosopher, motivational speaker, I guess. But I going back originally, so this is how we met originally. That's what we were talking about. Sometimes this is just going to be a normal thing with this podcast. I'm just going to shoot that out there.
Yeah, we
Sometimes
go off
we
topic a
will
lot.
go yeah, we'll go off topic and it's not completely off topic from what we were talking about originally. It's just like an additional thing to what we're talking about as far as the topic goes, but yeah, I mean, so how we met, man, actually, did we have like I'm trying to remember now actually. So did we have like a class together or something like that? And I know wrestling was definitely something that just like clicked for both of us because we were just so into it um back in middle school.
Yo,
But
I remember exactly how we met. So we did have a class together. That's how we met. We were
okay.
actually it was a PE class, physical education.
That's
And
right.
we were and for some reason we were put together. I can't remember the numbers that we were given, but in our school where we went for physical education, the amount of students that were inside of a class were all gathered in a one specific area. And
Mm-hmm.
on the ground, there were some numbers spray painted onto the blacktop. And I can't remember what my number was, but literally to my right, I see you And then out of nowhere, I can't remember what exactly we said, but I know, excuse me, I know for a fact we were making fun of our gym teacher who was a nice person, I'm not going to lie, but let's just say that when it came to getting her class in order, she did not do a really good job. Everybody was rowdy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's just I get it. It's frustrating and it's not super easy controlling middle schoolers that are still kind of they're pretty much still obviously kids, but at the same time like we're figuring out who we are. So we're just sporadic. That's it. We're just basically sporadic and we have no idea what is going on. But we also know what's going on at the same time, if that makes any sense. But
Long story short, don't don't underestimate a kid because sometimes kids are more observant than the adults are. And I actually
yep.
have a story about that, but we'll get to that later. I say that a lot. I've been saying that a lot this entire podcast. But going back to the what we were saying, we were making fun of our teacher. Sorry if for some reason she's listening to us, but I think right around that time, uh, one of us, I can't remember which one of us it was, but we ended up making a reference to a wrestler. Oh,
hmm
Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix. That's what I was trying to think about. We ended up making a reference to Beth Phoenix, who was a wrestler. I don't. Is she planning to retire? It's been a while, but
No, I think she's been pretty much like on and off. I know her last match that she just had was with Edge. Who do they face against though? Oh, right, yeah. So her last match was with Edge. Can't remember the exact pay-per-view, but it was very recent. It was a tag team match between Edge, Beth Phoenix against Finn Balor and Rhea. Actually, wait, was it Finn Balor? No, yeah, it was Finn Balor. Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, and it was a phenomenal match. I'm pretty sure Edge and Beth came out victorious. And yeah, it was a pretty good, solid match. Despite the fact that Finn and Rhea both lost that match, it didn't really slow either one of their like motivation down. Uh, Obviously now Rhea Ripley's I think was it SmackDown Women's Champion, so she's doing pretty solid. Finn just had another phenomenal match with Edge at WrestleMania 2. Hope to God he's okay. He suffered a pretty bad injury. Long story short, he had a ladder chucked at him by Edge, and it blew his head open pretty much. He had a pretty bad cut going on. They finished out the match, and it took a lot out of him to really do that. But yeah, kudos to him for finishing that out.
well, actually, maybe we should make a note out of this. Depending on when you're listening to this podcast, it is 2023. That is the year that our this episode is being recorded in. And again, back to the topic. We ended up making a reference to Beth Phoenix, and then immediately the two of us clicked because we both loved wrestling at the time. Our favorite wrestlers, well, my favorite wrestler was Rey Mysterio, only because, well, you can't see me through the because we don't have a camera currently facing. We're actually not even in the same place. Everything is being done remotely, but I'm Mexican. Um, so having a Mexican wrestler being in the spotlight of a major promotion like WWE was really, really, really empowering, especially for a small Mexican kid. Definitely, definitely somebody that I resonate and have a lot of respect for.
Well, and to just add on to that, he definitely gave luchadors a very popular name. Like Rey Mysterio did a lot. He's done so much, not just for WWE alone, but just for wrestling in general, as a sport, as an entertainment, whatever you may want to call it. He's just done a lot, which is why I love the fact that he finally is getting into the Hall of Fame. That should have happened probably a little bit like a couple years ago, something like that. But this is perfect timing. I think in general, now looking back at it, it's perfect timing. He's still wrestling, obviously, currently right now, so he's just been phenomenal, and it's pretty cool to see his son be in the mix of everything, despite obviously like what is going on in the storyline between him and his son. But yeah, it's definitely a treat.
I still can't help but laugh at that storyline because uh, at the time of this recording, his son, Dominic Mysterio, his character is a villain who spent some time away in prison. Except he it's making me laugh because supposedly he is like this really hard and really tough prisoner, this tough dude that literally just got, I don't know what they did to him, but looking back at some of the promos that they did to build up to that character, he did not. One night in county jail is all he did. He did not go to prison. He went to county jail and got bailed out. He didn't even do a whole night. He got out like
Yep.
an hour later.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's funnier like because eventually he goes, I'm the modern era Eddie Guerrero, and I was like, oh, you're gonna get a lot of heat for that.
Yeah, there's Eddie Guerrero was another Mexican wrestler. He was incredible in his prime. Unfortunately, he passed away of heart failure in 2005. But there was a storyline to just give you guys some context for those who don't know and who aren't wrestling fans, where apparently Dominic was actually Eddie Guerrero's son and not Rey Mysterio's. Of course,
Yeah.
that ended up getting disproven. He's Dominic is Rey's son, but the fact that that callback happened was not only pretty funny, but not only pretty funny. He wasn't funny. What am I saying? It gathered a lot of heat because Eddie Guerrero, his character was a guy who would always lie, cheat, and steal.
Yep.
And to call, nobody was ever able to pull that character off. They did try to do something similar with other wrestlers, but it didn't work out. With Eddie, there was only ever one. You really can't top it off like that. So you can
Yeah.
understand that the people were pretty mad about that, but at the same time, it kind of worked out for him because when you're a villain, especially in the wrestling industry, you got to do whatever you can to get a reaction out of the audience. It would have been bad if everybody just stayed silent.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
got to
So
respect everybody in the entertainment industry. And going back to the other topic of teachers, respect the teachers. I know we've had our fair share of teachers, but at the end of the day, they did their jobs as best as they could, and well, they don't get paid enough to deal with our bullshit.
but
Or
yeah.
like Matthew McConaughey once said, "All right, all right, all right."
Be a lot cooler if you would be. uh
Okay.
but yeah, so going back
Wrest-
to wrestling. Yeah.
Wrestling was like a big part of our friendship, but again, going back in those earlier years, we also I don't really consider this a fight, but one of the things that we ended up doing is we ended up calling each other out in Call of Duty, which is a video game that we both really enjoyed at the time.
Yep.
It sucks how poorly it is being run right now. especially since I do want to load up the game and just like play with my play with my friends like how I used to. But I think we called each other out to see who was the better sniper because I know that those were the guns that we were using at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember who exactly was the one who ended up getting the most wins. Was it you or was it me?
Um,
Uh,
I think it was me, but it was barely. Like both of us were really good back then, and it even carried to a point where like everybody was into it. A couple of our close friends were super into it, so we would have just uh basically quad matches, triple threat matches, like that sort of thing. And oh my god, that just some of us would pull some crazy kills, dude. I had a hard time like doing 360 no scopes and that sort of thing, but I just know there was a couple of other friends that I had who could just do it so easily, and I'm just like, how? Teach me the ways.
I
Teach me
mean,
the ways.
my loadout was very different. Everybody else had these like crazy trick shot loadouts, but all of mine were always just for quick scoping and sometimes even no scoping. I was
Mhm.
always really good at keeping my specifically my crosshairs always centered on my targets. To this day, even for like some of the other games that I play for my YouTube channel, I'm still pretty good. The only thing that I gotta say is that I'm not as quick as I used to, and that's part of getting older. You don't really keep up the same skills, even in not just mentally for the games, but also physically as well.
Yeah, that's true. I know, like if I could probably go a couple hours just straight up gaming for a little while, but eventually I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna go grab some food or something, just go watch some TV, just chill for a little while, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come right back to this.
I mean, didn't at one point we try to see who could stay up the latest?
Oh God, yeah, I would not
Uh,
be able to do that now. That's a fact. The latest I with my work job, to go off of who we are, I work as a like a lead trainer at a coffee shop, pretty much. So with
and
my schedule,
I work at a factory.
yeah. So with my schedule, um, I'm usually working pretty early morning shifts and that sort of thing. So it's definitely hard for me to stay up late sometimes. I could probably go like one in the morning. I think that's like the latest I can do, and then anything past that point, I just don't get very good sleep. It's extremely difficult. But yeah.
Ah, man, those were the days. I'm pretty sure there's always that one group of kids that always tried that.
Oh yeah.
I know for a fact I never won any. Well, from that time, I don't remember how many times we tried doing the whole late night gaming thing, but I knew for a fact that I would be the one that would knock out first. I mean,
Yeah.
shout out to my mom and my dad who are probably listening to this podcast right now. They did a really good job in raising me, always making sure that I always like stayed didn't stay up too late. So always made sure that I went to bed on time. Always made sure that I had good habits and never kept any of my bad ones.
Hmm.
Shout out to
True
all the
that.
moms and dads out there too. Do I know depending on the age of a child, they might not see it as a good thing right now, but I can promise you that as time goes on and as they get older, one day they are gonna thank you for it.
Yeah, I could definitely say the same for, excuse me. My mom, she always made sure that my brother and I were solid and we didn't need anything in particular. Like she was always there for us. I mean, and this is not me trying to like disrespect my father, but like he was there when he could be. but he had his own like personal issues, and it was just hard for him to be around. So I love my dad too. I love both of them. Um, I just can respect for the time that they both have put in to be there for my brother and I, because we would definitely be different people today.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for your mom too. She did everything she could, and wow, she's a very strong woman.
Yeah, yeah. It still impresses me that she went so long without having like a significant other that was, always going to be there pretty much. That's what I'm saying. And granted, she was with somebody after my dad. It's actually the reason why we moved to Southern California in general. Uh,
Really? You
it's
never told me this. This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Yeah, so it basically not to give names, but my mom's significant other around that time, he wanted us to move to Southern California because there was just nothing going on in where we were at originally up in Northern Cali. And it just there would have been more opportunity. That's what I'm trying to say. More opportunity over here compared to over like up there. So um Chris and I didn't like the idea. Obviously, as kids, we're just like, why? This is our home. Why leave? What's the point? But we were too young to understand that, obviously. So yeah, and it definitely worked out in the end. I think we did do the right thing by leaving. I wouldn't have met the people that I've met today, and I appreciate the fact that we took this chance to come over here, because it just would have definitely been a lot more different. That's pretty much it. So yeah.
I mean, every single story has to have an ending and a beginning, and sometimes that beginning isn't always going to be easy. It might even
Yeah.
be the hardest thing that you could do, but what you got to be able to do is you got to be willing to take that chance and actually make something out of yourself. Going back to the Sonic games. One of the Another bad one, which surprisingly enough actually looks a lot better now thanks to Forces, is
Mhm.
one that everybody calls Sonic '06, but its actual name is Sonic the Hedgehog. It was created for the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. There is a line in that script that when I heard it, I ended up deciding to live my life as best I could along those lines. And that quote goes like this. Excuse me. Nothing starts until you take action. If you have time to worry, then run. And the
True.
very first line, nothing starts until you take action, that is very true. So I don't know what any of our listeners are currently going through, or if they're going through anything, or if they're thinking about like just giving up on something or not even starting uh a quote unquote adventure. My advice is just do it. The Because like the saying goes, you nothing starts until you take action. You can never know when something is going to go good or if something's going to go bad unless you're willing to try. And then the
Yeah.
second the second line, if you have time to worry, then run. It took me so long to figure out what that line meant, but as I got older, I realized what it ended up meaning, and that is that if you have time to worry, you have time to make things better. You have time to improve. You have time to literally do anything instead of wasting your time and energy just worrying about things that have happened. It's better to move forward. Always keep going forward. And if things don't go your way, just wipe your slate clean and start again. I know it sounds easy, and for a lot of people, it might be, but for a majority of people, it's not going to be. but you got to be willing to take that chance.
Yeah, it'll definitely never be easy to get through tough situations, and all you can do is just try to lean on certain people that are going to be there for you, and if you don't have those specific people, just stay positive. Thing like I said a lot for further back in the stream today, it's best to just be patient. Everything will get better eventually. You just got to stay patient with everything and just keep a level head with most situations. It's easier said than done, but it's not impossible either.
Say true words have never been spoken here.
Boom.
I feel like if anything, we should probably have like a little segment where we're answering people's questions. I'll tell you what. If you guys are interested in hearing our thoughts on a few things, and better yet, if you guys haven't need some advice from two guys who have seen their fair share of stuff, do me a favor. Uh, follow me on Twitter at it's Miguel_Perez and use the hashtag just the vibes and tweet out all of the things that you want us to talk about, as well as if you need some advice, we're here to help.
Same here. Unfortunately, I don't have Twitter, which I probably should get on here pretty soon. I just have never ever been interested in having a Twitter personally. So,
My dude, deal. I gotta be honest, ever since Elon Musk took over, the whole thing has been going. One moment it's fine, the next thing you know, it's garbage, then it's back to being fine, and then it's back to being garbage. It's just left and right, and left and right, and left and right. And oh my god, can you just work? Yo, I'm sorry. I gotta tell you this. So when Elon Musk took over Twitter, he ended up doing this thing where he started a subscription business. I think it is called Twitter Blue, where for a small fee you could actually get the blue checkmark that everybody wants. And so many people did that, but not for the reason that you might think. So the reason why people want that blue checkmark on their names is because it means that they're verified. It means that you've actually made it. It's kind of like a status symbol, but it's also a way for people, specifically businesses, to be identified on Twitter as a legitimate business. And if you can see where this is going, some people ended up making fake accounts of real businesses, and they ended up paying for the blue checkmark to just show up next to their names. So people thought that they were legitimate businesses. And at one point, one business who was actually manufacturing parts for some of the for some airplanes. I don't remember if it was exactly the main manufacturers that makes our planes for the United States, but they got into a lot of trouble, and it ended up costing them their business. It was a nightmare.
Sounds about right.
I mean, if you have the time to actually do stuff like that, first things first, what the hell is wrong with you? And second, just why?
Just why?
Why? Just why, man? Why? Why? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Pourquoi?
For the love of God, why would you do this?
I'm trying to remember that one line from the movie The Room. Is it "You're killing me, Donna," or "You're unbearable, Donna"? I can't remember.
I think something like that.
Feels along the lines of that. Oh man, that ruined the moment too. Oh man! Oh man!
God dang it!
It's a Bob Saget.
Oh, Bob Saget.
Oh, Bob Saget. wait. That's another thing. Or better yet, that's another thing that we bonded over. For
Oh,
those
yeah.
for those who don't know, there was this one YouTube channel. I think they're still up, or I think this, or specifically the videos are still up, called Tourette's Guy, and it's about this one guy who obviously has Tourette's, who's always saying the most crazy things. And for some reason, whenever he drops something or whenever he messes up, something that he would say is Bob Saget.
It was just so random, but it was perfect. Perfect. Down to the last minute detail.
And here's the thing. Wait, remind me. Bob Saget, he was an actor in Full House, correct?
Yeah.
So the fact that he was calling out somebody's name as he drops some stuff, I don't know. I don't know why. Made it even funnier. Yo, there was this one video that I remember seeing where I don't know, first things first, I don't know what the hell went on in this guy's mind, but he was holding a pot that was just on a stovetop while it was on, so it was like really hot. He was grabbing it with his bare hands. I don't know why. And all of a sudden, he just starts running into the kitchen, going "fuck, fuck, fuck,
Oh,
fuck, 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 fuck!" As he's trying, as he sets the pot down on the table. He lifts up his head and he hits it on the chandelier, causing it to break. I thought he was. Next thing, oh my god, yo, it
was so hard to stop laughing after a while the first time watching that. But yeah, it's just the fact, like, so the perfect timing of every time he said fuck. I don't know why. It was already funny leading up to that part because he's just like, fuck, 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 fuck. And then just, drops the pot, just, oh, bam. And just chandelier crashes. I don't know if that shit broke entirely. It probably broke only partially, but still, point is, that shit, oh my God.
It looked like it hurt. I mean, I feel bad for laughing.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, it's worse because this is also a situation where it's like actual people have Tourette's, and it's definitely not as severe in that perspective, but it's still enough to be like, yeah, this is what we got to deal with. And it sucks. So, it's a situation where it's like, I'm sorry for laughing, but I have to laugh at this. It's hilarious. And if you can't find it funny, then I'm sorry.
We have a dark sense of humor here. That's what you need to know. Our sense of humor is extremely dark. Hence why, well, depending on where you're listening / watching this, on our YouTube channel, which has a banner, it specifically says viewer discretion advised, because we're not quote unquote nice people. Well, we are nice, but not in that regard. We have a messed up and dark sense of humor here.
Mm-hmm. True that.
And here's what made it even funnier. So once he like settled down and he was holding his head and he walked out of the kitchen, he yelled even louder, but since he was really far away, the only thing you could hear was fuck.
Yeah.
That's what made it even funnier. Now, here's the crazy thing about the Tourette's guy. I highly recommend that you check him out on YouTube. The clips that we're talking about should still be up, but it's very hard to tell if either the person behind or better yet, it's very hard to tell if it's even real, because what is stated in all those videos and what happens in all those videos feels like it's like over dramatized, over dramatic.
Yeah.
It feels all set up, which again, I don't know if it's real. I don't know if they're staged. If they're real, I'm sorry. Why am I saying it like that? If they are real, I'm sorry, but they're pretty entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. And if they're fake, my God, what is going on in your head, man? Because you're you're crazy. That's all I gotta say.
Well, and that's why I feel like it's got to be fake because it just seemed like you said it just seems too obvious. It just seems too comedic in general, but could be completely wrong. We could be completely wrong, and it could all be real, and we're just like, oh, well, damn. Like that's unfortunate that you have to deal with that for real. But yeah, uh, I definitely would check it out. It's hilarious. You'll get a good laugh out of it. They actually did come up with a new video. I don't know how long. I think it's probably been like a year now. But they came up with a new video, and everybody was like, oh, "He's back! He's back! Oh my God!" But yeah, everybody was going off, going crazy, like, "Oh my God! It's been so long. Where have you been?"
I think somebody ended up spreading a rumor that the Tourette's guy died of something. We're glad to see
Oh
that
yeah.
that's not the case. We're glad to see that he's healthy, he's fine.
Hmm.
But okay, be actually, I feel like maybe I should have stated this sooner. But if you do decide to check out the Tourette's guy on YouTube, I gotta say this. Yeah, the language in those videos is not. It really doesn't fly. It came out like right around the same time that Ghost Stories came out, which I think is still one of the funniest animes that was ever produced. Remind me,
Mm.
have you seen Ghost Stories?
Um, Probably not. Just because I know personally for me, I didn't really grow up with anime that much. I definitely started watching a couple like here and there when I got out of high school, but never grew up with anime. Never did.
For me, it was the opposite. I grew up. My first anime was Robotech, and then after that, I started watching Bleach and then Naruto and so many others. But sticking with Ghost Stories, uh, since you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you watch it. But this was dubbed specifically. When I'm talking about Ghost Stories, I highly recommend that you watch the English version because the Japanese one, they're pretty faithful to the original story, which Ghost Stories is based off of.
Yeah.
But uh, I don't know how much of this is true, but apparently the original Ghost Story series failed in Japan. So when it came over to the United States, when they were given their statements for what can be done with the series, the owners of
Yeah.
the series just said, just do whatever you want, just as long as you don't change the plot.
Okay.
And uh, I think his name is Stephen Foster, the director of the English. He took that literally and he filled every single line instead of being like
Oh no.
super faithful to the story. It's just like way off the rails. You hear so many different there are so many uh jokes that will not fly in today's world. Imagine imagine this. So I think one of my favorite lines, mind you, the kid that says this is about 5 years old. One of my favorite lines, which lives let free in my head. I don't know why, but he's dangling from something, bracing for impact, and he's saying, I don't want to die. The only person I had sex with is my babysitter.
Ah,
Oh my god.
not again. Not again.
And that's like
That's brutal.
that's just uh that's just the tip of the iceberg because those jokes get worse and worse and worse and worse. I think at one point that same kid is dragging somebody over to the police station to try to report like a ghost that they saw. And as
Yeah.
he's walking in, he just goes, "Hey, officer, drop the Krispy Kreme." And then as they're dubbing, you can't hear a single word that they're saying because all they're saying is gibberish to just fill in the spaces. They're like giggity 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 giggity.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yo, it is crazy. It is wild. Even if you guys don't, for you guys watching, I highly recommend that you watch Ghost Stories. But again, trigger warning, this came out during a time when you could say literally whatever, and people at that time had a very different sense of humor. So some of the jokes you might find funny, some of them you might end up not finding funny. It's still a great show, but I will say it is not for the faint of heart.
True that.
Oh my god. Yo, I am definitely gonna send you the link to like some of the clips. Even if you decide not to watch it, I highly recommend you at the very least watch clips of them, which are still up on YouTube.
Okay.
Those lines are hilarious. And to this day, I still go back and watch it whenever I need a good laugh.
Fair enough. I'd do the same thing.
Oh my god. All right, let's wrap things up here. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode, even though we mostly just like rambled on. At the same time, we're just going with the flow here, hence the name, Just the Vibes.
Exactly.
So, before we end this show, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you guys are listening / watching this on YouTube, I highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications so that you never miss out on an episode. If you're listening on Spotify, please follow us. We're definitely going to try to crank out as many more episodes as possible. And if you guys want to know a bit more about us and who we are, I have a YouTube channel. It's Miguel Perez. I will have that link down in the YouTube description. And if you guys want to see more of me, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at it's Miguel_Perez. And you should probably say all of your socials so that people can find you.
I was gonna get to that point earlier on, but again, we just
got sidetracked.
Right? Yeah, but no. So I got Instagram. That is a different name, unfortunately, which I'll try to like more precisely put in the YouTube description. But my Instagram is Tahoe Born LAC55. You can follow me on there. My YouTube channel should be the same exact name as I got it right here. So Tahoe Born Calling. And that's all I got.
All right. And again, if you guys are willing, if you guys have any topics that you want us to talk about, or at the very least, just want some advice, or just have any questions that you guys want to let us know, I'm the only one with a Twitter. So just tweet me at it's Miguel_Perez again. And use the hashtag Just the Vibes Podcast so I can take a look at everything that you guys are saying.
Perfecto. Right on the money.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really hope you guys enjoyed. And, well, we'll see you later.
Right on.